exciting. Oh my God.
Live from Zoom, it's New Thought Philly. We need Scopey to say that now.
Yes, he's the man.
Live from Zoom, it is New Thought Philly.
Nice.
Here's Reverend Bill with your God call.
A lot of times I find myself telling people to breathe. And it's not that they don't know how to breathe or they've forgotten for some reason to breathe. The reminder is that they can choose to be in this specific present moment, right here and right now. And more than just breathing, it's breathing out. That surrender, that release, that letting go, that makes way for something brand new to come in. So here's an idea. Take a deep breath right now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ah. Take a deep breath. I already said take a deep breath. I was on the recording. And good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. Here we are finding ourselves on Zoom once again. By the way, taking advantage of the fact that we can be anywhere. Carla Ann is at the shore, and Scopey's in North Carolina, and Jesus is playing Where's Waldo, and our music today is Sonic Yogi. Jonathan is in Marietta, Georgia, and the practitioner is in Carolyn is in Milwaukee. And just the ability to connect over time and space is absolutely spectacular. You know, the rules of Zoom, for the most part, you can leave your mic muted so that we're not going to interrupt and step all over each other, except when we make a joyful noise. Go ahead and unmute your microphone now and repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to the goodness that's surrounding me.
I open myself to the goodness that's surrounding me.
Me.
I know love and wisdom is right here, right now.
I know
And love
love
and
Love
wisdom
and
are right here,
wisdom
right
is
now.
right here and
right
right
now.
now.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it
And
is.
so it is.
Try that mute button one more time as I remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. So whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our Zoom today, wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you. Welcome home. So there's not a whole lot of requirements for what you got to believe in order to take part in New Thought Philadelphia. We believe that there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. Now, you don't have to believe that. It's kind of helpful if you do, because it's a nice starting point for what we're doing. But if you want to be resistant about that one, then you are welcome to, and let me know how it's going. We like to say it for short is your new life begins with a new thought. If you have a cell phone or another electronic device that might disturb you sometime in the next hour or so, go ahead and turn it on to shush. And that way we're not going to be disturbed by the stuff outside everywhere else in our network, and we can focus within. I'm Reverend Bill Marchiony. Our musician today is Sonic Yogi. Jonathan is somebody who Dina found on Insight Timer. And as you can see, he's surrounded by his guitar and his singing bowl. So I'm really looking forward to quite a treat with him today. And our practitioner for the celebration today is practitioner intern Carolyn Nixon, who is going to be offering our opening prayer from the shores of Lake Michigan in Milwaukee. We begin with a prayer like we begin everything. Carolyn? You're muted.
Take two.
No, you're not.
We begin by taking this opportunity to come home to truth. The truth that dwells within and is everywhere present and manifesting and revealing itself to us. I know that there is one source, substance, essence, energy, vibration, first cause to all that exists. That one we know as Mother, Father, God, Goddess, infinite intelligence, spirit. That one which created all there is, because there is only this unified wholeness, the creator and its creation. I know that I am itself in unique, radiant expression, as is everyone present. I am one with the cause of all that exists. And I know this to be true of me and to everyone present and all life everywhere. I am grateful for this opportunity both to celebrate this one and to grow into a deeper understanding of my awareness of this sacred and unbreakable bond that exists between me, between the divine, all of this creation, this unified whole between everyone present here, all life everywhere, and everyone in our beloved community. And I know that this service unfolds in peace, in harmony, in love, with great joy and great ease. It blesses, it inspires, it uplifts everyone who partakes of it in any way they are called to do so. And I also affirm that I go forward as I faithfully accept these blessings. I go forward in a deeper level, a deeper understanding of life, of love, of harmony, of wholeness, of peace and joy. And I know that this deeper understanding, which is unfolding right here and now, continues long after this service comes to a conclusion. And I accept these blessings, these gifts, and with loving gratitude, I release my word into that creative medium, which we know as the law, knowing it is complete and accomplished right here and right now, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Carolyn. So a practical prayer, a spiritual mind treatment, is different from a traditional prayer in that we're not asking God outside of us to do us a favor if we are worth it. It is a claim on consciousness. It is something which we are embodying. It's something for which we are paying in spiritual coin. And we'll get into that a little bit more later on. But the really cool thing about practical prayers is that they work. They create a new result in our experience. So this is one of my favorite times of the celebration, where we get to invite anybody who has a prayer that has brought about a new experience in their life to raise your hand and share that. So we've got Jesus and Carolyn and Breen and perhaps the entire practitioner corps. Things are bubbling up. Jesus, you are first. Go ahead and let us know what's going on.
Yeah, yesterday I came from Naples and I went to pick up my car in the airport. The engine light was already on, so I was going to take it to the Honda like Monday. And then I got home and I guess some water got into the panel, so it got all bizarre. It didn't want to start. And when it started, the door was locked. I couldn't get in the car. That's to the driver's side, and I couldn't open the trunk. And the light stood on. I had to disconnect the battery. I had my stepson with me. And I said, I was going to New York in the morning. He said, well, you can't go to New York. You can't drive like that. And then I wiped it down. And then I was going inside. And he said, so what you going to do, Pops? I said, well, I'm going to go and pray. And so I went to pray, and not about the problems, just about the answers. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe Monday I go buy me, we got a CRV, so get me a Highlander from the Toyota or something like that. So he told me, well, what time you gotta leave? I said, it's 7 o'clock. He said, okay, I'll meet you in the morning outside. So 20 to 7, he's calling me up. I'm out here. I said, okay, I'll be out there in a minute. And the car started up like it was a new car. I went to New York Airport. I'm on my way back. So prayer does work. Thank you.
I love when that happens. Thank you, Jesus. And I love that in the middle of the prayer work story, you're considering perhaps getting a new car. That's just fun. Carolyn, you're muted.
And those of you who are in the practitioner corps, I've already shared this story, so bear with me. This little piece of plastic, which is a charger for my earbuds, I couldn't find it, and I was allowing myself to just get into a total frenzy trying to find this thing. So it's like, oh yeah, stop, drop, and pray. And I prayed, and immediately the image of where this thing was came to me, and I said, you got to be kidding. It can't be there. And so I just got over myself and went over, and there it was. So I had an awakening.
I love when that happens. Yeah, so that's the guidance, the insight, the resistance, the whole like little spiritual process that you just got in there. Very cool. Thank you. Breen.
So I've been working with my prayer partner and some other folks around some challenges at work. I'm transitioning from one role to another role, and I'm only partially allocated to this new role, but they wanted a lot more from me than I was able to contribute at the time. And they kept asking for more. And I set up a meeting with the program director to level set on the expectations. That was going to be Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday midday, I had a session with my prayer partner. And when I got on the phone call Wednesday afternoon, the program director was like, oh, we've decided we're going to move you to another part of the program where you have a little bit more time to ramp up as you spin down your other duties. And all this crazy stuff that we're asking you to do, we're going to have other people do that now. So it's like, okay, cool.
Oh, don't you love it when you get yourself all prepared for the meeting and then it turns out that it's all done before you get there?
Yeah.
I love when that happens. Robert.
Hey, so I made my way back from Alexandria last night after hanging out with our brand new baby uh, grandbaby, right? And wonderful week, 2 weeks actually. And but then I'm on the plane trying to take off from DCA, and there's a mechanical problem. And I was like, oh God, right? Because now there's no way I'm going to make my way back home, right? And so as they are deplaning us, still in DC, right? Waiting, I said, wait a second, practical prayer. I'm going to get my way home with ease and grace. And I got into the line of the people trying to resolve the situation. This nice lady came and gave me a piece of paper that said, if you have issues, call American on this number and they'll hook you up. I said, okay, well, I did both, right? I stood in line and I called that number, right? And she got me onto a later flight, same path flight plan, but later. And so I was able to sit back, recharge my batteries and my cell phone batteries, and then get on that flight, the later flight. But then when I got there, I got to Dallas Fort Worth, still in the mindset of my practical prayer, I was able to connect to my original connecting flight. So I didn't have to wait around for another 2.5 hours and then show up here in Albuquerque at midnight. Instead, I got back on my regular flight plan, and I was home by actually in this house right now by 11 o'clock, or sorry, 9 o'clock yesterday evening, and I'm feeling great right now. And it was a very successful practical prayer. And one last thing to say is our daughter, our granddaughter, PJ and my granddaughter, is gorgeous and amazing, and I can't wait for everybody to see her. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Robert. I love both of those stories about babies coming along this week. I just actually, side note, got a nice card in the mail yesterday from Carrie Kersey, who had been our digital media coordinator for a while and had to step down because she was having another baby, which she has had. And, so it's babies. Love when that happens. Carla Ann, her batting cleanup here, and then we're going to move to announcements.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Well, it's funny. I wasn't going to ever tell the story. And I actually told my two girlfriends that I'm with this morning. And then prayer works and I have to share. So I'm on vacation and I'm at the shore. But for the second leg of my vacation, I went to London and I met friends there. And I had a flight from Philly to Newark. It's crazy. But they changed it. And I ended up having to go to Newark 8 hours before my flight, and there was no way around it. Like I asked if I could just take a train, but anyway, so I had to spend all this time in the airport, and I hadn't slept well the night before, and I left my purse, my wallet, in the bathroom of the airport. I'd already checked my suitcase and I had my little carry-on, but I left my wallet and didn't realize it for probably a half an hour. And I was, of course, when I realized I didn't have it, because in that little purse was my passport. And my head was just about to pop off. I took a deep breath, like our God call today. And I said a practical prayer and I asked for the highest and best and smooth efficiency. And I found a couple people. That one person led me to another and so on. I guess the fourth person was like, she's like, oh, come with me. I think I know exactly where it is. Because I'd gone back to the bathroom. Of course, it was not there. And the security office downstairs, it was there. And my passport was there, my ATM card. I had a little bit of money and it was gone. And maybe 45 minutes after I had calmed down, I was like, all right, I lost my money, but I didn't get upset about that either. And the rest of the trip was smooth. I spent time, instead of hanging out in the airport, I walked across the parking lot to a Marriott so I could go in and go out. And I had great conversations with people. And I had my passport so that I could fly to London and meet my friends. And aside from my 2 girlfriends this morning, you guys are the only people that know. So please don't tell anybody, because I'm very embarrassed by the whole thing, but grateful that practical prayer works.
Thank you, Carla Ann. And between us and social media, your secret is
oh my gosh, this is on social media. I forgot. Can we delete that part?
Hell no. And the question that we always have is, if you were in a situation where your purse and your passport were missing, how much would you pay to get it back? And then how much was in the wallet? So you probably would have paid that much just to solve the problem. So if you look at it as, oh, they took my money, then you're missing the point.
That's it.
A great story. Announcements today brought to us by Jane Rourke, perhaps a kazoo fanfare by Breen Rourke.
Okay. This sultry information is on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and in our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so we can keep in touch. Twice a day, we have a community check-in and meditation on Zoom. Everyone is welcome. They're inspiring and fun and quick. Less than 15 minutes start to finish. Episode 64 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer Podcast is Back to Basics. It's on Apple, Google, Spotify, or Stitcher. You can watch the live stream of the recording session on Monday at 1 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. The affiliated New Thought Network Fall Retreat takes place September 26th through the 30th online and at Unity Village. It will be a powerful week of speakers, music, and workshops with a wonderful group of people just like you. Registration ends at the end of the month. Follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and join the 1105 spiritual adventurers in our group on meetup.com. The Power of 8 Intention Circle meets on Zoom every Monday at 6:30. The Women's Circle meets on Zoom on the 3rd Thursday every month at 7 p.m. Contact Sandy for more information on either of them. There's less than a month left for the Summer Unexpected Income Club. It's open to all. Sign up online, say the daily prayer, and when extra funds flow your way, share the story and donate 10% to New Thought Philly. We are grateful for your tax-deductible donations by PayPal, check, Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. Thank you to the team that makes our Zoom celebrations work and has fun doing it. To join the joy, contact Sandy. Next Sunday is online with Labor of Love. Reverend Bill shares gratitude for those who do the work and suggests ways for us all to bring more joy, creativity, and success to what we do. Live original music by Deb Chamberlain. The practitioner interns are doing full sessions at no charge to complete their training. After the celebration, Carolyn will be available for a quick miracle and a minute prayer. We'll leave the Zoom meeting open for people to talk amongst ourselves.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. And just a quick shout out to the practitioners and the practitioner interns. We'll put their contact information into the chat. And just guys, wave your hands. The practitioner interns are Carolyn and Jesus and Bobby and Courtney. And you can direct message them through the Zoom chat if you want, just to say, hey, I'd like to get a hold of you and open up the dialogue right now. The other thing that you can do is that there is a prayer request form on the website. You can just go find it. It's under ministries and fill out the information on the prayer request, and it will send an email to all of the practitioners. You can also contact us directly by sending an email to practitioner@newthoughtphilly.org. See, lots of different ways that you can bring prayer into your life. When we gather in person, remember the good old days when we gathered in person? During this gathering song, we would wander around the room and greet each other. And that basically looks like a bunch of people wandering around hugging. which is one of my favorite parts. So the hugging is a little less effective on Zoom. So what I invite you to do, actually, before we do that, I want to welcome the people who are with us for the first time. We also do a blessing and a welcome for people who come back and see us for the second time, and also a welcome for people who are with us for the first time. I know there is at least one person who's here for the first time. So if you'd be willing to wave your hand or use the electronic raise hand so we can see that you're with us for the first time. Hey there, Robert. It's wonderful to see you. And the rest of us are going to rub our hands together. You just receive this. Rubbing our hands together to feel some warmth, to remind us of the love that's available, to let it well up inside of us and send that blessing out. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you so much for sharing your love and shining your light with us today. And welcome home. So now the simulated wandering around hugging. Go ahead and switch your screen to gallery view. And as Sonic Yugi does the next song, just make eye contact with the people in the group together and feel that feeling of bond and love and connection and community. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Wow, that was awesome. Hannah is going to lead us this morning in the flames of faith.
Morning, everybody. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people in all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. And thank you, Hannah. The reading today is from the Science of Mind textbook by Ernest Holmes by way of Carolyn with some selections. Green Thought editing, Ernest Holmes? No, it's just reading some highlights from Ernest Holmes, and that's going to be shared with us by Carla.
Good morning, everyone. This is chapter 16, The Principles of Successful Living. The law is infinite. The law which man operates is infinite, but man appears to be finite. That is, he has not yet evolved to a complete understanding of himself. He is unfolding from a limitless potential, but can bring into his experience only that which he can conceive. There is no limit to the law, but there appears to be a limit to man's understanding of it. As his understanding unfolds, his possibilities of attainment will increase. It is a great mistake to say, take what you wish, for you can have anything you like. We do not take what we wish, but we do attract to ourselves that which is like our thought. Man must become more if he wishes to draw a greater good into his life. We need not labor under the delusion that all we have to do is say that everything is ours. This is true in reality, but in fact, it is only as true as we make it. We provide the mold for the creative law, and unless the mold we provide is increased, substance cannot increase in our experience. For mental silence does not promise anything that will do away with the necessity of complying with law. The law is a law of liberty, but not a law of license. It is exact and exacting, and unless we are willing to comply with its nature and work with it along the lines of its inherent being, we shall receive no great benefit. Every man must pay the price for that which he receives, and that price is paid in mental and spiritual coin. A mental avenue must be provided through which the law may operate as the law of liberty if we are to be free. This does not mean we must please the law, for it is impersonal and neither knows nor cares who uses it, nor for what purpose. But because it is impersonal, It is compelled by its very nature to return to the thinker exactly what he thinks into it. The law of mental equivalence must never be overlooked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. We realize, however, we realize, however, can't seem to get that. We realize, however, that to attempt the self-expression at the expense of society or other individuals is to defeat the very purpose for which freedom exists. For back of all is a unity. Hence, we find that the laws of necessity and not of theology, of which all religions and ethics and moral and social systems are but feeble lights, do ultimately compel experience into the path of true righteousness. The criterion for any man as to what is right or wrong for him is not to be found in some other man's judgment. The criterion is, does the thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time harm no one? If it does, it is right. It is not selfish. But if it is done at the expense of anyone, then in such a degree, we are making the wrong use of the law. And so it is.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Wow. This morning, I'm going to talk about spiritual coin. And Ernest Holmes was talking about that in the reading, that we can have anything we want, but we pay for it in mental and spiritual coin. We can have anything we want. Now, according to the sage philosopher and stand-up comedian, Stephen Wright, you can't have everything. Where would you keep it? There's also a song, you sing one line of the song and everybody starts singing along. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. And both of those things are true. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You've been to the buffet or to the diner where the menu is 17 pages long. And there's the huge array of all of the things that you could choose from. And you can have anything you want. You go into the diner, you could have pancakes, you can have liver and onions, you can have chicken parmesan, you can have pasticcio, you can have pie, assorted pies, as many pies as you want. Page after page after page of things that you can have. You can have anything you want. But when you go into the diner or you go into the buffet to have dinner, at some point you make your choice and then you've had dinner. And as we were talking about breathing out, you really, you might be able to have a second dinner, but third, fourth, fifth, no, eventually you're not going to be able to make your way all the way through that menu without taking a break and doing something different. So you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. And that means that we are always at choice. Ernest Holmes says that the law responds. It gives us liberty, but not license. Liberty means that we are free to choose. We have the liberty to make those choices, to invite those experiences that we find most comforting and uplifting for us. But it's not license. Just because we have access to the law doesn't mean we can have everything. We get to choose. And what happens is we're using the law of attraction. We're using the creative laws of the universe to bring into our experience that which we're seeking. But in order to experience it, we have to embody the consciousness of whatever it is that we're seeking. And what that means is that if you want to be in a loving and wonderful and uplifting relationship, if you want to be in that delightful divine embrace of your beloved, then you're going to have to embody the energy and the consciousness of somebody who is loving and lovable. Because if we want to go along being a nasty curmudgeon while the universe responds to us in love, that'd be nice, but it's not likely to happen. You know, if what has our attention is our health and our vitality and our well-being, then the chances of saying, well, I'm going to live my life the way I've been living my life, eating unhealthy foods that I know to be unhealthy, drinking too much, smoking, not exercising, doing the other things that I know are not helpful, that are not uplifting to that healthy lifestyle and life experience that I want to lead. And we're going to be at cross purposes. So if we are in a position where we want to invite more of that experience of health and vitality and wellness into our lives, then we need to embody it. What is it that I'm bringing to this that says, not just to the universe, to myself, to everything around me, I am a healthy and vital and vibrant person. If I'm wanting to be vibrating at this level, and instead I'm vibrating down at this level, then something needs to change. And the change gets to happen in consciousness. Now, a lot of times, especially when we're talking about our healthy lifestyle, the change in consciousness will be followed almost immediately by a change in our activities and our behaviors and our exercise and our eating and whatever else happens to be. When we want to bring a more loving experience into our lives, that determination, that commitment to a consciousness of being that bright light of love that we wish to experience in the world will change the way that we interact with the world. And maybe in really subtle or maybe in really obvious ways, the people around us will start to notice that, hey, we're a little softer, we're a little more loving, we're a little more fun to be around, we're a little more attractive and engaging. And the way that we are interacting with the world changes. And the world, in turn, is able to interact with us differently. So when we say that we can have anything we want and we're going to pay for it in mental and spiritual coin, that's what we're talking about. It's establishing and creating and defining and living in that consciousness of what we're seeking. It's how we're going to be activating that law of attraction. If I am somebody who is not experiencing peace or peace of mind, if there's irritation and upset going on in my world, then what do I need to do in order to attract that peacefulness, that peace of mind to me? Well, perhaps I need to let go of judgment. When something happens and I get upset and I get angry and I start labeling it and naming it and describing it and giving energy to it, then that's what the focus is on. And if instead I can get myself to a point where I say, oh, that happened, and that's not to my liking, that's not to my preference, and I would prefer to have it unfold in this different way, and let go of the anger and the judgment and the attachment, then what we're doing is we're opening up a channel for that newness to come to our lives. Those of you who have been in classes have heard this question before. Would you rather be right or happy? Would you rather be right or happy? And yeah, I know the answer is I would rather be happy and be right. Well, that's easy. Yeah, of course, we'd rather be happy without having to give up that judgment that we have about being right. But sometimes it's not about right and wrong. Sometimes it's not about whose side is going to win. It's what would happen if love were unfolding now. How would this be showing up if this were something that was wonderful and uplifting for everybody involved? And when we focus our attention on that and let go of the thought that we have to be right, that we already knew it, that if everybody else would just do what I say, then everything will be fine, you know, and that may or may not be true. There are certainly times in my life where I'm absolutely certain that it's true. And unfortunately, there have been enough times in my life where I was right, that I had it nailed, to let me think that it's all about me. Well, that'd be nice, but it's not. Whenever we get into a situation where we're in conflict between being right and being happy, breathe out, let go, and see what's going to happen. What happens if I'm not right? What happens if I miss the point on this a little bit? Can I open myself up to a bigger understanding of what's going on and get some happiness along the way? And, oh, by the way, maybe learn something that I didn't know before, expand my view of the world, give other people the opportunity to be that bright light of love that they are, and have something new show up in my experience. Well, I guess that's always a possibility. So we got this idea of spiritual coin, and the idea is that when we want something, we get to pay for it in spiritual coin. Well, do you have a bank account where you keep your spiritual coins? Is there a way to save them and store them and have them available, and be able to call upon your backlog or your supply of spiritual coin when something is necessary to, you want to buy something in consciousness? Well, of course there is. Of course there is a way that you can bank your spiritual coin, and it's called practice. If the first time that we do a prayer is when the bullets are flying, or when the car has already gone through the guardrail and is heading off into the ravine, we are possibly not going to get as much of an uplifting and happy experience as if we pray all the time, as if we give ourselves the tendency of turning towards spirit, of the awareness of our true spiritual nature, and open that connection, that channel that allows the infinite to fill us up. Because what happens is the disasters don't need to be averted. They get averted well before we're on the guardrail. The things are able to come back into alignment. We heard prayer work stories today of things that could have just turned into tragedies. Here's Jesus, who needs to be leaving, to drive from Philly to New York at 7 o'clock in the morning in a car that's every indicator light on the panel is going off. And this could be bad. And instead, there's the prayer and the willingness to do whatever's in front. He's wiping down the panels and getting rid of the moisture and whatever it is that he can do. And then the car works. And there's the possibility of losing something and having it be a crisis. It's the AirPods. They only work until the charge runs out, and you got to get the charging case back together. And oh, by the way, that's the one that talks to the computer. So that's where the Bluetooth is. And so there's some stuff. There's some stuff that needs to happen. And it can be as frustrating as having to go and in an emergency buy another charging case, or get the passport replaced and the credit cards replaced in time to get on the airplane because we're going to a different country. It can be an emergency. It can be a fire drill. Or the divine can say, look over here in this completely unexpected place. And because we have cultivated that tendency towards consciousness, then the infinite is able to say, yeah, look over in this unlikely place, or talk to these people, or take these steps, and then the good unfolds and the love unfolds. So when you're interested in building up your spiritual bank account, do some practice, meditate. If you meditate a little more, or continue meditating. If you don't meditate at all, wow, this is a great start, because you get to go 0 to 60 and bring something wonderful into your life. Connect with a practitioner. Take your prayer practice to the next level up, because having a professional work with you can really be helpful. The other thing that Ernest Holmes said is that wrong use of the law will give us the effect that we don't want. And I just want to explain that the wrong use of the law is where we are setting the intention for something that's not positive and life affirming. And you would say that if I am in a conflict with somebody, then I could do a prayer, and my intention could be for there to be harmonious resolution, so that we come to an agreement and an understanding, and love is unfolding and the light is shining. And it might also occur to us that I can do a prayer to win, for me to be right, and for the person I'm in conflict with, to kind of disappear into an abyss, have the earth open up and swallow them and then close again. And our ego mind says that, wow, wouldn't that be cool? But our ego mind would also tell us that we do not really want to live in a world where the ground opens up and swallows people whole. And what it comes right down to is that when we are setting an intention for something to happen, when we're activating that law, the first person that it gets activated upon is us. When we are setting the intention for something that we understand, and it's pretty obvious, to be negative or not life affirming and not uplifting, there is a boomerang effect. And the first person that gets hit by that is us. So yes, you can try it. I recommend against it, but if you try it with something small. Try it with something small that doesn't involve the earth opening up and swallowing your adversary, because if the earth does open up, it's going to be way closer to your feet than you want it to be. But the fact of the matter is, the law always works. It is a law of attraction. And when we embody the consciousness of that which we are seeking, the law says yes. The law always says yes. It is so cool that the process is so reliable and so obvious and so basic that we know in advance the answer is going to be yes. So we set the intention, the invitation for the experience that we want to be having. We let go of everything that's not like that. Open ourselves to that newness. That's the breath out. We let go of everything that's not like it and invite in something new and let the law say yes. So as you go about your week, invite the law to say yes to something new and fabulous and wonderful. Get your yes in a way that's wonderful for you and everybody around you. Because you can, and because you deserve it, because you are a bright light. So it is. And Carolyn's going to lead us in meditation.
No, this is the point in our celebration where we pause to take in all the blessings that have been presented to us in the spoken word, through prayer stories, through inspirational talks, and through a mantra, and perhaps one of the most powerful mantras which can ever be spoken. Om Hari Hari. And this is speaking the name, speaking the word, invoking this presence and power, just as we do in what we call practical prayer or spiritual mind treatment. And I feel particularly blessed to have been exposed to this beautiful music, which is the divine speaking through sound vibrations, through the human element. And I am grateful for this. And right now, I invite you to take 3 very deep, filling, cleansing breaths. In the first breath, take in everything that has transpired in this service, every blessing, every sound, every word, every thought. Take it in and release with the exhale with deep gratitude. In the second breath, take in even more to let it fill you to overflowing. And again, release with gratitude. In the third breath, allow all that you have taken in to settle into your being, to every fiber of your physical form, into your heart, to your consciousness, to everything that is you. And we know that there is more than enough good to go around. So as you exhale, release that out into the universe to bless all life everywhere. And by all means, in this practice of this breathing, this conscious awareness, include that in your spiritual reserves. And again, as was stated in both the reading and the talk, that this is a law of liberty, but not one of license. And before we choose to activate this law, which is always in operation, before we choose to consciously direct this law, again, we ask this question: does this thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, and more peace to myself, and at the same time harm no one? Am I willing to pay in spiritual and mental coin for that which I must release to open up a channel for what I desire to manifest. And if perchance I may choose to use this law for my own reasons with disregard to the well-being of others, am I willing to pay in spiritual and mental coin for this law of cause and effect, which comes back to visit me? And I include in these words I have spoken, in every word that has been spoken, and every blessing that we have received, 3 lines from a prayer from the Hindu tradition, spoken in English. May God grant us wisdom's fruit. May we gain the energy to know and to live the truth. May our intellects, our senses, and our intuition grow clear and bright. And I invite you to take these words and all of these blessings into the silence for contemplation, for exploration, and for integration.
The answer is yes. The answer is always yes. That infinite creative power, that divine presence, that one that started with nothing but itself and began sharing itself as all of its creation, that one has shared itself as each of us, individualized itself as each one of us. And that same power and presence abides within, that same access to the infinite creative law is within each of us. So I know that we are using that creative power well, opening a channel for newness and freshness, that which we desire, inviting in the richness and the sweetness and the goodness into our lives and to the lives of those around us. I know that it happens in many, many, many different ways. All the areas of our lives, differently for each of us and the same for all of us, as that one infinite love shares itself more richly and fully and joyously through our experience. So I'm grateful for the goodness that's unfolding. I'm grateful for the willingness of each one to turn away from that which is not desirable and to open to that which is preferred. I'm grateful for the awareness of this creative process, and I'm grateful to be able to speak this word of intention, this word of invitation, and to release it into that creative law, the one that always says yes. And so with gratitude for the good that's already flowing, I speak this word and I release it into the law and I let it go. And I know without any question, doubt, or hesitation that the law is already saying yes. This good is underway now. And so it is. Take another deep, full breath in. Bring your awareness back to your body, back to the world around you. Maybe shrug your shoulders. And Sai Kyoki does another selection for us. Bring your attention back into the world. Beautiful. So different than we're used to. That was wonderful. So we have actually we'll do the wisdom share quickly today if we can, just because the way the time is going. Jesus, briefly.
Yeah. Thank you, Brad, for that talk. I will promise I will make a spiritual deposit today. I appreciate the music, the sonic. That was beautiful. It brought healing to my body. I feel smooth. And to my friend and sister Carolyn, that was beautiful. Thank you for sharing and giving yourself to this community of New Thought. Yes, that was that meditation, that opening prayer. I see your commitment and your practice flourishing, coming out. So thank you. Appreciate it. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jesus. K. Scopey Mosley.
Yes, the music was sweet. The meditations were so comfortable and the talk was needed. My wisdom that I wanted to share today was the quality of actually being present here. I'm infrequently on the Sunday morning here with you on Zoom, but I am frequently watching on YouTube. And there's just simply a different quality of being here present. So this is my acknowledgement of that and word to everyone on YouTube to join on Zoom.
Thank you, Scopey. That's beautiful. Jane, the offertory.
Okay. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the website to make a donation by credit card, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on screen. We'll say the affirmation together. I live in an
abundant
universe.
I am
one
source of
infinite
good.
source of all good.
I'm the center of conscious
I'm the center of
prosperity.
conscious prosperity.
Enjoy the richness of
I
life.
enjoy the richness of
Enjoy the
life.
richness of
Bless
life.
my
Bless
gift.
my
bless
gift.
my
Bless my
gift.
gift. Share my
I
gift.
share my
Share
gift.
my gift,
Gratitude.
gratitude and
Good as I
joy.
give.
As I
I
give,
know
do
as I give,
receive.
I
do
do
receive.
receive.
And so it is.
What is?
So it is.
That was some kind of cacophony. Awesome, guys. That was fun.
That was
Jonathan,
fantastic.
one more for us. Take it home. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your wonderful gifts with us today. Oh, what a blessing. We will close with another cacophony. So go ahead and unmute your microphone, if you will, and repeat after me. I am love.
I am
love.
I am light.
I am
am light.
I am blessed.
I am
I
blessed.
am
I am
blessed.
blessed.
I let the love flow.
I let the love flow.
Flow.
I let my light shine.
Let
I
my
let
light
Let my
shine.
light shine.
Share my blessing with the world.
I
Share
share
my
my
Share my
blessing with the
blessing with
world.
the world.
And so it is.
And
and
so